This is part 3 of me explaining the puzzle that I laid out in a bunch of entertainment like TVs and music and even the environment around here and the language even. This is an example of the puzzle pieces that I left in entertainment. H. Harry Potter. They made me do it. 7 for God. God's number is 7. On the 8th one, it says they made me do H for Hayden. And then Willy Wonka, H for Hayden. Now, believe it or not, there are a lot of meanings to the name Bob. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if I remember correctly from all of my explanations about what's going on with me, in the sense, and Hayden, the body which I took over, is that the name Bob means something. Now, there's a show called Adventure Time, which is a supposedly kids cartoon where Finn, the human, and Jake the dog hang out, and they go on adventures together, and there are these characters, and one of them is named Bob the Unicorn. Now, there's also the Ice King, who is voiced by SpongeBob, and there are characters from Bob's Burgers in this show. And there's a show that at the end, it's about the second coming of Gull. Now, I put a bunch of puzzle pieces, sometimes more than one, in a bunch of TV characters throughout all of, like I said, TV, entertainment, movies, stuff like that, and even more. And it will all add up, and that when put together, it'll add up to stuff that can prove more than definitively that I am Jesus Christ, the Matrix is real, and so is the Illuminati. This is another example of what I am talking about. Now, Breaking Bad characters and community. The show Community, if you know it, the college is named Greendale, because like I said, I wanted Hayden Lonsdale to think that the lizard people were me. And the people in Greendale are known as the Greendale 7, 7 for God. And Breaking Bad is a slang phrase meaning to defy authority or to challenge conventions, because Hayden Lonsdale broke bad to earn a community and make God love him and sacrifice his life and carried his cross and sought not his own life but another's. So thus community, Greendale 7, because lizard people would, green lizard people. Another almost like an Easter egg, like a puzzle piece that when combined together would link up only to me. Hayden Christensen, the chosen one. The reason why I gave him the name Luke Haas was to make him think of being Luke Skywalker instead of Anakin Skywalker. Look at this. His eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns. He has a name written on him that no one knows but he himself. There's other inscriptions of this where it's like a secret. Now watch this. And the reason why I want him to think Luke Haas and Anakin Skywalker being the chosen one at the same time, because for a while he thought he was their chosen one, that they were me, which was okay for him to think. And I wanted him to think of being like Luke Skywalker and saying no to being evil, like with Darth Vader. So, in a way, he was fighting himself because I knew how they were going to be lying to him, manipulating him, and trying to torture him by lying to him. And that's really it. It's kind of torture if you really think about it. Just lying over and over again, attacking, trying to insinuate someone's a girl. If you really see my channel, you know this is what they do. So I prepared for that with him, and when I got back into his body. Here is another depiction of Jesus Christ, as in me, on a Korn album. Now, obviously, that's a lot darker than reality if you see me, but that's exactly the way Jesus Christ is described in the end times. Like I told you, it seems a bit dark for someone that is known to be Jesus Christ like me. But the reason being is that I knew Hayden's specific circumstances and what he would be going through and how he would notice me, and that in the end it would be all worth it for everyone, and that no one should judge and take the beam out of their own eye anyways. There are so many puzzle pieces that are like Easter eggs that I hid all over entertainment and media and everything I've talked about before, even down to things like the environment and numbers, meanings of names, like I talked about in the first video. If you link it all together, the the puzzle I'm spelling out, if it were to combine into a painting, would be of, well, me and what I can prove to the world. Now, if you look here, this is one of those subliminal message puzzle pieces that I told you about, like an Easter egg. Alien, believe. So what it's saying is, believe in me, and there's so many different interpretations based on whatever Hayden could have believed. What I want him to believe is that, okay, the lizard, King 1025, Hayden's birthday, October 25th, the lizard. So I want Hayden to think that, well, believe in the lizard, because I told him that the lizard people were me when they're not. Kroll means king. Like I told you about the name Clancy Gilroy, this name, believe it or not, means son of Red Warrior. Flanshad means Red Warrior. It actually means serves the red-haired one, or servant of the man with red hair. Now, Clancy Gilroy, and then Roy. And King. If you really look at all these signs, Hayden Lonsdale, the Chosen One, all these names that all link to simulation stuff, like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is the one Roy is about, with the board that said creativity. Now, this part is about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. There's a lot of references to being the Matrix. Roy just happens to say it there. It says creative, because you gotta think creatively. Because the first episode is about thinking creatively. And this episode is about being in a simulation and having a real you control you, which is what I have biblical references to prove that it's about me, as in God talking to this body. And what does Roy link to? Roy, A Life Well Lived. About Rick and Morty. Morty downloading himself into some sort of video game where he goes down there, forgets who he is, and then goes back to real life. Now, Roy, Clancy Gilroy, is from the about him downloading himself into an avatar and going into a simulation where he interviews people from a destroying world, a world that is being destroyed. And I have red hair, just like a lot more pictures than you would ever know depict me with red hair. Signs, pictures all over the world depict me, Jesus, with red hair, if not most of them. Even in modern day news and, well, TV, entertainment, and stuff like that, depict me with red hair. More than half of the time, I would say. Even churches that have commercials have me, Jesus, with red hair. All the signs connect to me. And I can keep proving this to you all, especially if you combine what's going on with this with all the people who I claim are hunting me, because they are. This is why they're hunting me. This is why they're after me. This is why they pretend to be me and my dad in front of me and want me to be a girl because they want me to sin. It all makes sense as you connect the dots. It spells out a very scary picture. The end times are here, and nobody's listening because everyone's dumbed down, blind, distracted. The Illuminati's real. That's Satan. The Illuminati is Satan, Lucifer, the devil. It's all the same thing. The Antichrist is them. The Bible isn't 100% accurate.